This week, Lego,
checkers,
and a man walks on water.
This is the front page. Welcome to the front page, a show that brings you the top content from the social news website reddit.com. I'm Tyler Slayton.
And I'm Neil Figuracion.
How are things?
They're swell.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Things are swell. I think we should get straight into it, because we got...
You haven't read anything good lately?
No, it's all good. It is all good in said neighborhood.
Neighborhood's good.
The neighborhood of Reddit was very... not a positive, there's no... I know we sometimes...
I like positive stories.
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes we report on the bummer stories when we feel they're important, but this week, just a whole... a bunch of...
So this is our kittens and bunnies and
yes,
balloons
we're just gonna dump
episode.
hugs on this episode. It's gonna be
right.
awesome. We're gonna call it Hug Dump.
All right. Welcome to our Hug Dump episode.
All right. First story submitted to the subreddit Programming, which is a subreddit I don't think we've ever
Is that
reported on.
10 go to 10 stuff?
What is that?
That's basic.
Oh, I'm not that. I'm a different kind of nerd.
I'm
I don't
old
know.
school.
All right. But yeah, that kind of programming.
Like with floppy disks and...
But it was submitted by, and this username will be appropriate in a minute. Yeah, I wrote OptiKey. Title of the story is Eyetracking Software for Sufferers of ALS/MND can cost tens of thousands of dollars, so I've spent the last 3.5 years of my spare time writing a free and open source alternative. Meet OptiKey. Which leads to this video, and we can talk over it, but basically this person designed a program that you can use a computer entirely using your eyes.
And a webcam, I guess.
Yeah, there's some sort of camera interface. Well, there's a little description for it. OptiKey was written to challenge the outrageously expensive, unreliable, and difficult to use alternative and augmented communication products on the market. Therefore, it is fully open source and free forever. Period.
I think everything needs to be open source.
Well, especially this sort of... I mean, this guy, basically... that's kind of funny. He has his hands up in the video just to prove...
That he's not...
That just shows you the kind of people on the internet where they're just...
Doesn't look like his face is moving at all either.
No, it is completely your eyes. Oh yeah, and it does text-to-speech stuff for you. And then later, yeah, you can go... So you can select stuff like the mouse, right-click, left... you can select a double-click. It's surprisingly fast.
Yeah.
But this guy, this dude is the best, because 3.5 years of his spare time on this, what I'm sure is insanely complicated program to help out people with. And I actually had to look it up. I know what ALS was. I didn't know.
Lou Gehrig's disease, right?
Yeah. But do you know what MND is?
No.
It's motor neuron deficiency or disease. Okay. I can't remember which one it was, but I had to look that up.
It sounds painful.
Yeah, I'm sure
problematic.
Right, I'm sure it's got similar symptoms to and complications as ALS. But I thought this was really cool.
Yeah.
And it's also really cool. We don't always get stories that the person most involved with puts it up on Reddit, but this guy was like, well, I'm going to be the one to debut this story.
He invented OptiKey, and I thought that was some kind of Pokemon.
OptiKey does sound like a Pokemon.
Right?
Like, OptiKey, I choose you, which as you should. If you want
Giant
more
eyeball that just looks at you.
If you want more information on this one, it's optikey.org. And I was all ready to be like, hey, if you want to throw this guy a donation or something. No, he's got nothing. It's just
this is free open source. Just
open source. Go use it. Go implement. Go change it if you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was
an OptiKey that just gives you all curse words or whatever.
Right. Also, can you? Is it legal to sell open source stuff? Can I?
It's open source, so I would have to. The spirit of open source is that there's nothing to sell.
Sure. Well, but I'm just wondering, because obviously
can someone take the code and then copyright it?
Because obviously there's products for this that cost a lot of money. Could someone be like, oh, someone made a better version for free? I would hope not, but I don't know. I am not a lawyer. I don't play one on the internet.
Yeah.
So, so we're gonna move on.
Yes.
Next subreddit, space, and No, not that kind of space.
Okay.
But I think we can both agree space is awesome.
It's Final Frontier, or it's 1999, or other things.
Why did they call it the Final Frontier? Because it is just like, I get the sentiment, but it's just like
there was no places on Earth that they felt they had.
I know, but it's like you could just go space. It's everything else.
I guess so.
It would have to.
I think that there's a certain ring to Final Frontier that is just superior to it's everything else.
I guess, yeah. It wouldn't be impressive hearing Leonard Nimoy go space. There's a lot of it. Let's go check it out.
That's more Douglas Adams kind of take on space.
All right.
Space. It's really big.
It's dark and scary in some places, but let's go. This is submitted by Isaiah76, who I think has contributed to the show before.
Thanks.
This was awesome. This was a video posted by NASA, and it was Plasma Tornado on the Sun, which is going to be the name of my album. I don't know what kind of album or what kind of music I'm doing, but that's what it's called.
I mean, it sounds like a Pink Floyd 1971 album.
Look at this thing.
Whoa.
And so little information about this. Over the course of 40 hours above the surface of the sun, it was September 1st through the 15th, the temperature of the ionized iron particles reached 5 million degrees Fahrenheit.
That's not livable.
No, that would be very painful. Well, no, it wouldn't hurt at all.
No, it would be you'd be done before you got there.
Yeah, all right, so.
But what is that thing? It looks like a tornado.
It's it is not a literal tornado, but that is I guess normally these things get like dissipated by gravity of the sun or something, but this just like it stayed in its form. Science, and we get a tornado on the sun, which has to be, that was the only thing, is they don't say how big it is, but it's gotta be like thousands of miles high, because you can see
a city or a state.
I don't even know, like, because you can see a giant portion of the sun in this picture, and it's big.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. I'm gonna say thousands of miles, and that's gonna be my and I don't think it's less than thousands of miles.
I mean, like bigger than cities, bigger than states.
Right, and also the fact that this takes place over 40 hours is nuts.
So is this time lapsed?
Yes. You can see a little counter down at the bottom.
I mean, I would look at that and see that the balloon is leaking or something.
Right, yeah. Also, I don't know why. I'm sure it has something to do with, like, whatever kind of telescope or whatever was used, but it's blue, which is kind of misleading.
Yeah.
Which I guess there's different wavelengths and stuff. And
I mean, I'm pretty sure that just putting your camera on the sun, like a normal camera on the sun, or pointing it at the sun, is not the best way.
They just attached a GoPro to a balloon, and they got the shot. It's pretty amazing.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but man, science, space, the whole thing, science and space, and time, because that's technically is space. Space time. All right. Next one. Oh, this is this is fun. When you were a kid, did you ever have crazy hair day at school?
I think the entire 1980s was crazy hair day.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah, I guess that.
I mean, my hair was up to here most days.
Yeah. What
no
crazy
exaggeration.
Hair? All right.
And like my high school, my senior picture was about this high, only because it was rainy that day and it couldn't. Like I was in the rain a little bit.
Ruined everything.
So it was here, and it's like ridiculously high, but it was typically twice as high.
It would have been out of the frame, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right. Well, they have in school, they have these days where it's like, crazy shirt day, crazy, wear your clothes backwards
day.
And I remember crazy hair day. This was submitted by Miko is cool. Oh, all right. I got confused because it was like S into cool, so I was like, school.
Mikoi's cool?
But
Mikoi's school. I think it's the Mikoi's school.
No. Stop doing that with it's hard enough to pronounce these names without you being like trying to read it like a weird license plate. All right. A friend posted this on Facebook. Crazy hair day at the school she works. Look at these.
What?
Like, first of all, like back in my day, kid on the left would have won. Like you put gel in your hair and you spiked it, and
it's all colored.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But then, like, these three on the right, like, just step their game up at the, like, this is the Michael Jordan of Crazy Hair Day.
That is pretty badass.
I assume this one is supposed to be a minion.
It looks kind of minionish. But yeah, with the blue base.
Right, and then the snowman one with
That's
with
an
like
Olaf, right?
Oh, it could be.
Do you wanna build a snowman?
No, I don't. And also,
we can't
probably have to cut that out. It was. I think it's okay. It's under 4 seconds. If it's like if it's more than 4 seconds, I think we have to pay for it.
I couldn't help it.
This will be the last episode.
And
then
of the front
also,
page. There's a soda pouring out.
That woman's head. That's the crazy one.
I mean, sorry, probably a girl. That's probably the apt.
I assume. Yes, I assume these are.
All school,
I would call them children. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. But there's no.
She's just taller than everyone else, so I assumed.
Sure. Yeah, there's no other information. I don't know. I assume this is America. Maybe. Maybe not.
I don't know that brand of soda.
That's true. I think her sweatshirt says Tigers. Maybe.
So maybe she's from the country Tiger.
Yes, that country Tiger. That is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's. Forget it. I was gonna make more cat puns. Yeah.
Well, we assume an English-speaking country.
Yes. We get the weirdest detective stuff on the show. Where we're just like, it's not enough that because I could go into the comments and be like,
things are over
what's
over
up,
the
guys?
top enough that I would assume it's America.
That's true. This isn't happening in like
Canada.
Could be, but it's not happening in like a country where it's like, oh, we have to walk miles to school and like, these kids have a lot of time on their hands. Like, they're not worried about like going to work in the mines after school. So, but good on them. I thought this was
that is fun.
This is.
I like that the soda is just spilling straight out the cup.
Oh yeah, and like who thinks about like. Who's like Crazy Hair Day, huh? I have an idea.
I mean, it's one of those things that over the years it would escalate.
Oh, like this is the thing.
It's just like, last year they did.
It's like the school. It's like the Karate Kid, but like
exactly.
It's not karate. It's
like
Crazy Hair Day.
The pitch perfect of Crazy Hair.
Yes.
Not that things. Actually, things went a little more crazy in the second one. Anyway,
you could 100% do an episode of like Boy Meets World with the Crazy Hair, like
or
the Crazy Hair Day,
World?
Or Girl Meets World. Which have you watched?
No,
I was never into Boy Meets World really. It like just didn't hit my age group. Like my little sister was way into it. But yeah, it's cool if they did it.
Mm-hmm. The Crazy Hair Day episode.
I don't think they did a Crazy Hair Day episode.
And plus, things would have just been different. Like it would just been. I don't think we had the color technology back then to do something that temporary.
What you said? You think these are giant leaps in?
I mean, I remember what it took to have hair that was like very brightly colored.
All right. Well, anyway, good on these people and good on whoever did these crazy things with their hair.
Yes.
All right. Next story. Awesome place. There it is. Another Today I Learned, as we often have on this show, submitted by Wind Soul, but both words are spelled wrong. But I think it's Wind Soul. Today I learned that Marion Tinsley played checkers for 45 years and lost only 7 games. So this is Marion Tinsley. He was an American mathematician and checkers player. He's considered to be the greatest checkers player who ever lived. He was world champion from 1955 to 1958 and then 1975 to 1991. Tinsley never lost a world championship match and only lost 7 games in his entire 45-year career. And this is the crazy part. Tinsley retired from championship play in 1991. In August of 1992, he defeated a computer program called Chinook 4-2 with 33 draws. So they played a match of 39 games, and they drew 33 times, and he lost to the computer twice. So it goes on to say Chinook had placed at the US Nationals in 1990, which usually qualifies one to compete for a national title. However, the American Checkers Federation, and the English Drafts Association, which
Yeah.
you didn't know either of those existed. Or the Drafts Association, I guess. But there's an American Checkers Federation,
I would
just
imagine,
in case you were
yeah,
wondering.
I'm a fan of Go, so, any game.
A fan of what?
Go?
Oh, okay. But they refused to allow the computer to compete for a national title. So, unable to appeal the decision, Tinsley resigned his world championship and immediately indicated his desire to play against Chinook.
That's what I would do.
The unofficial yet highly publicized match was quickly organized and was won by Tinsley. So, this guy went, "Oh, you're not going to let the computer play? Well, you can take your title back. I'm going where the action is."
Yeah.
Like, this guy,
the game gets good. That's what I'm saying.
This guy stepped his game up to the point, and he was at the end of his career, and he's like, "No, I'm going on top. I'm going to beat a robot."
Have you heard of Arima?
Arima? No.
Arima is a game that was designed to be specifically hard for computers to beat humans.
So it's like, so it just asks questions
uses,
like, "What is love? How would you describe a sunset?" Like,
no, I feel like there was a $10,000 challenge to create.
Okay. It's one of these like AI.
Yeah, it uses all the same pieces as chess and the board of chess, but with completely different rules.
Interesting.
And I feel like there are a couple dead spots, but they created it so that it would be very difficult to write an AI that could beat the master players.
All right, that's cool. Because I still maintain it'd be a more fun game if it involved like emotions.
Yes. Spock and Data would have a really tough time with this game.
But here's the cool part about that particular match. The lead programmer of Chinook looked back at a database of one of the games and discovered that Tinsley picked the only strategy that could have defeated Chinook from that point, and Tinsley was able to see the win 64 moves in the future. Like, I guess what happened was he's playing the computer makes a move, and Marion Tinsley went, "You're going to regret that." He said that out loud to a computer that can't hear him.
Yeah.
And then they played the rest of the match, and 64 moves ahead in checkers, which I don't think...
Against the computer in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And destroyed this.
Well, I wonder how he'd do against modern computers and modern programming.
I mean, I have to imagine in 91, it's really just plugging in.
Remember what video games looked like in 91.
Sure, but you're talking about, it's basically just a tree of...
Sure.
Of strategies. So, this happens, this happens, this happens,
But there's sort of the random factor, too. I mean, not that randomness actually exists in computers,
you can't...
But if you can...
Are you saying in 1991 you could psych out a computer that you couldn't do today?
No, but you can choose, I play app games, and I play with, hidden personalities. Like, the AI can play differently if I choose.
Right, yeah.
And the AI can play in a way that I can't know what the AI is doing, or rather, I can identify what the AI is doing.
The Carcassonne app does that, where it's you can pick the crazy player or the logical player.
There's got to be many variations and much more room to put those variations.
Yeah, I don't know. I believe Marion Tinsley has since passed, so I don't know who the number one checkers
fighting that demon in purgatory.
Oh no! You know what we did? This is the movie we're writing. Now the new Chinook is just Marion Tinsley's brain in a jar with electrodes in it.
That's the one.
But cut that part out. Too good an idea. We're not giving that one away for free. All right, moving on. Another Today I Learned. This was submitted by Unkept Broom. That's a really hard...
Unkept Broom?
Unkept Broom.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Today I learned director Robert Zemeckis, who has approval over all films in the Back to the Future franchise, says that he will block all attempts to remake or reboot the original. So this was on IGN. This is a quote from Zemeckis to The Telegraph. Oh God, no. I mean, to me, that's outrageous, especially since it's a good movie. It's like saying, let's remake Citizen Kane. All right, we're going to stop right there. While I believe that Back to the Future is a more enjoyable movie than Citizen Kane, even if you're Zemeckis, you don't get to compare your movie to what is highly considered like
one of the best films of all time.
Right, yeah. It's crazy that he would throw that out.
All right, we get that, though.
Right, all right, moving on.
I mean, it's like remaking Psycho.
Which they did.
I know.
Let's remake Citizen...
Anyway.
Yeah. Let's remake Citizen Kane. Who are we going to get to play Kane? So he also did compare himself to Orson Welles in this analogy. What folly, what insanity is that? Why would anyone do that? Which I can totally, I mean, other than the Citizen Kane thing, which we're not really getting behind. But yeah, and I'm not a person I don't hate remakes. Like, there's a lot of remakes that I've enjoyed.
Honestly, Ocean's 11 was a superior, and I'm a huge fan of the original Rat Pack version of Ocean's 11.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think that's a superior movie.
Ocean's 11 is a superior film in all ways.
It's not like it can't be done. And also, like, people freak out about it, and they're just like, no, this is sacred. I'm just like, it's not like...
The film still exists.
Right, when they remade The Thing, they didn't go around to everyone's house and be like, we're here to get your copy of Thing because you can never watch it again. Like, it's the source material will always be there.
Is this remake, whether or not it's based on an original thing, is this film good enough on its own?
Right, and sometimes not a matter of good enough. It's just like, is it necessary? Like, do you need to remake Back to the Future? No, like that. I think it's proven at this point it will stand the test of time.
I mean, I guess we'll see how it goes with Ghostbusters, but I feel like what was remade recently was not recently, but I'm forgetting what things were remade. There's a lot of things.
Yeah, and we can talk about the Ghostbusters thing. I wish they weren't doing it. But everything I've seen so far, I'm like, this all seems okay.
I haven't watched any trailers, but
there's no trailers out.
I haven't seen any footage or listened to it because I avoid this stuff.
Yeah.
But I do trust. I do trust the team.
Right. I still wish I was like, I'd rather you take those four ladies and just give them something original. Like, don't make them remake a movie. But if you're gonna do Ghostbusters, I feel like they're doing it right. Mm-hmm. But anyway, there's some more. There's a co-writer and co-rights owner, Bob Gale, agrees with Zemeckis, and both claim they'll never sign off on a remake as long as they live.
Which,
Well, this is another quote from Zemeckis. That can't happen until both Bob and I are dead. And then I'm sure they'll do it, unless there's some way our estates can stop it. So both Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis have literally gone, no, over our dead body, you're remaking Back to the Future. Which I can totally agree with. All right. Moving on, next story. This is submitted to the subreddit Pix. This is another movie-related thing. Submitted by BitJ Plux. BitJ Plux. There's a zero in there. It's very complicated. We've talked about Mad Max on this show before.
The current
Fury Road.
Road, yes.
Which I think I still maintain is best movie of the year, as far as I'm concerned.
The biggest piece of art I have seen in a long time.
It gets the front page stamp approval as if it needs it. But this was a story titled Disabled Guy Owns Mad Max Cosplay.
Yes.
Have you seen this?
I have seen the photo. That is bad.
Right. I think this was at Dragon Con. I'm not sure. But yeah, like totally crushed it. Yeah. I am someone I've never cosplayed before, but I'm very fascinated by it. Like anytime there's cosplay photos from this con.
Like work to me, which, some people like things that I don't want or wouldn't choose to do.
Yeah, but like these people, they've got the skill, they got the disposable income,
I have nothing against it, and there's some great craft in there. It's just like,
if anything, that's the reason I don't do it, because I'm just like, I can't sew, I can't, and people are so good at it.
I mean, for this took work, but
there's some engineering that went into this. He modified his wheelchair, and the whole thing. He made the mask and everything.
Buy my Halloween costume on Etsy.
Right? Yeah, that's the level you're willing to.
Yeah, if I need to have someone do my makeup, then I'll find.
Yeah, that's the best I can hope for. Is just I had a really solid Halloween costume. I can't hope to go to a con and be like, Look at me. I'm bearded guy from
Yeah.
yeah. I'm Will Wheaton. Yep. Might as well admit, I've been called Will Wheaton before. Yeah, don't act like you can't see it.
No, I see it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
When someone told me that, because I didn't realize until someone actually told me, and I was like, oh, I do look like Will Wheaton. All right. Moving on to another story submitted to the subreddit Pix by Peter Venkman. Peter Venkman 1. It can't possibly be the real Peter Venkman because it's got a 1 after it. So this is a parody.
The first
clearly.
Peter Venkman.
A Lego astronaut floating above Earth, photographed by an actual astronaut aboard the International Space Station. Look at this.
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
And it's not just a picture, because it's a great picture, but like some planning went into this. An astronaut, which there's not a lot of, had to go, I got an idea. I should bring my camera and...
I mean, they've got cameras up there.
All right, fine. They've got cameras. But he's like, I got to bring a little Lego man with me, which I don't think they're allowed to take much up there. Like,
I mean, they have stuff for experiments. You know,
yeah,
Chris,
well,
Chris
no,
what's
that's
his
what I'm
name,
saying.
brought his guitar and recorded.
He did have a guitar in space. Why
Yeah.
is that? See how much it must have cost?
Because you have to spend how many months up there?
I know, but like, have you ever heard of the beer can principle? The beer can principle is this thing where if you take a beer can, like that amount of aluminum, like not anything inside, the amount of fluid that fits inside the beer can is how much fuel it takes to get that beer can into space. So, like, a guitar must have cost a significant amount of money to get into space.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
But once it's up there, you know, it just stays there.
That's true. As long as it can maintain orbit.
Yeah.
But yeah,
they're not using fuel once they're in orbit, right?
For adjustments and stuff. But
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Or well, no, it's technically not rocket fuel, I don't think. But anyway, but yeah, this guy took what I'm sure is a very limited amount of personal space. Was just like, I'm gonna bring up a Lego man and take pictures of it because that'll be awesome.
It's fun.
Right, contributes nothing to science whatsoever.
Everything is awesome.
Everything is indeed awesome. We can move on after that. That was a pretty perfect ending. I'll give you that. Good job. All right. Another cool, awesome thing. Oh, submitted to subreddit. Whoa, dude.
Whoa.
By Handicap Reaper. Or it could be. Oh no. Oh, sorry. Handicap Reader. But with an A. Nah, forget it. I gotta stop trying to figure out. Like, I should just, before the show, I should just like, hey, what's your real name? Oh, Bill? Sweet. This is submitted by Bill.
How do you say your name?
Yeah. Yeah, or just ask them to send me a phonetic pronunciation of their name. Beautiful see-through ice found in the Slovakian mountains. Check this out. First of all, awesome scenery.
Zowie.
Right, yeah, this looks great. If not a little cold, but I mean, I think worth it. But watch this when he pans down.
Wow.
Right. Like, I don't know how that even occurs in nature. I assume they're walking, I'm assuming it's fresh water.
I'm flying.
Right, it's a little Jesus-y is what it is. It's a little, it's kind of a miracle.
Well, is there unfrozen water underneath?
That's a good question.
Or is it like top to ground?
I can't blow that up. Oh well. No, I think
is it frozen entirely?
I didn't see any like bubbles or anything moving under there. It might be completely frozen.
I mean, I wouldn't feel secure if it wasn't completely frozen.
Oh, that's true. That would be...
Because I would imagine that would just be super thin.
Right. And also, I don't know how far they are from a place that can treat frostbite.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I forget. This was in... I don't know. Someone put it in the... It's in a town with like 3 umlauts in it. It's like one of those way up there. Probably... I don't think you can drive to it.
Okay.
Is what I'm saying. Wow. Yeah, I think that is super cool. It's one of those things where you're like, oh, I want to go see that. Like you always see like nature photos, and it's like, where's that? Where can I go? How much is a plane? Oh, that's kind of a lot.
Yeah.
I'll just
I'll watch it on video.
Yeah, I'll just sit here and watch the front page. They can tell me how awesome it is. All right. All right, we're gonna move on to our last story of the day. Unfortunately, yes. But this one starts off kind of negative, but then turns positive. We're all positive today. Another today I learned, submitted by Math Liability. At least it's words. Today I learned a blind man was kicked off a US Airways flight after his service dog repositioned itself several times during a 2-hour delay. The passengers demanded that he be let back on, and the flight attendant responsible be kicked off instead. Right. So this is back in 2003. 35 passengers on a US Airways flight walked off the plane after Albert Rizzi, a blind man from Long Island, and his dog Doxy were escorted off the flight after a heated exchange between Rizzi and the flight attendant about where his dog was placed. So I guess what happened is this guy, Albert Rizzi, was seated in the back middle, so not bulkhead, but like, you know, that one that like doesn't have a seat in front of you. Mm-hmm. And the flight attendant told him that the dog had to be under. Oh, I'm sorry, I should show the picture. The dog had to be under a seat, which I think is crazy. First of all, because
that's not baggage.
Well, yeah, and also it's like it's a Labrador, like it is a full size dog. But he didn't have a seat in front of him, and passengers were all like, were totally willing to be like, hell yeah, I want a dog under my seat. That sounds great. Yeah. So dog gets under like a person next to him's seat. But there was a 2-hour delay. So the plane is on the tarmac and the dog kept like repositioning itself. And this apparently made the flight attendant unhappy and was all about like, oh, this is a safety concern, et cetera, et cetera. There was some words said back and forth between Albert Rizzi and the flight attendant, and the flight attendant got the pilot and they decided to kick him off. Right.
You don't mess with the blind man's dog.
Right. Rizzi and the dog were then escorted off the plane by airport security. After Rizzi and Doxy were removed from the plane, passengers demanded that the flight attendant be removed from the plane and Rizzi let back on. All 35 passengers band together in support of Rizzi, and after realizing the passengers would not budge, the pilot announced the flight was canceled. So these people were so angry that they got a flight canceled because of this. They kicked off a blind guy, and it doesn't get like better from there. This is a quote. US Airways is sorry for the inconvenience, and we were looking into the situation to see if it was handled properly. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. US Airways, that was from the spokeswoman, Liz Landau. She added that the pilot and flight crew elected to return to the gate due to the safety concerns caused by the actions of the dog, and said Rizzi was verbally abusive to the flight attendant. I don't think I believe. That sounds like some corporate spin. And also, even if he was, blind guy, let it go. Like, yeah. You're not going to look like the hero when you're standing up to a blind guy in an argument. Landau said that the pilot and flight crew did not feel it was safe to operate the flight after seeing how upset the customers were at the incident, and said that the pilot asked everyone to disembark once they reached the gate. This is the kicker. US Airways then provided free buses from the Philadelphia airport to the Long Island airport.
That's what, like 8 hours?
That is US Airways turning themselves into they're the perfect villain in this story. Yeah. Like, one, like kicking a blind guy off your plane. 2, not canceling the flight when the passengers are like, hey, that's not cool. And then 3, just be like, oh, we canceled the flight. Here, why don't y'all get on a bus to your destination city? Like that, they are the Voldemort of the skies. Right. Like, that is incredibly uncool.
Okay, what happened?
I think it was just one of those things where it was like, this sucks. I don't think anyone got any compensation out of it. Is US Airways still around?
I think so.
Because, like, they don't deserve to be. like, it would be a shame if everyone lost their jobs, but man, this is messed up.
Yeah. You said there was a positive end.
There was a positive though. Like all that, like 35 people. I mean, there's a whole thing. Like Rizzy was like, "Oh my god, I believe in." Like humanity stepped up, and that's the positive. Is
okay.
You know, I mean, 35 people like got to their destination later than they intended. That's the only bad part, really.
Yeah. Okay.
The good part is like
that they had
a bunch of humanity,
back.
and like it's very rare when mob mentality turns positive, because like. If it were up to me, once they were like, "Hey, we're gonna cancel this flight," I'd be like, "Oh, well, maybe we should all chill out." I'm a coward. We've established this in the show.
Right.
But yeah, I thought this was cool, and humanity rules, especially the humanity that watches the front page.
Yay, humanity!
Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, favorite, subscribe, comment. Yes, comment. Is there anything I'm missing? I'm always worried I'm missing some sort of
apple pies.
Yeah, we're watch front page on all the social media business. But thank you so much for watching. This has been the front page. I'm Tyler Slayton.
I'm Neil Figuracion.
Thank you so much.
Stage 2 show.